Alright, so I thought today I'd do something a little bit different and I'd do a legend tier list, but all based on how easy it is to get 4K damage with the legend. And I'm going to try and be non-biased and not try and rate it on how good the legend actually is himself. I'm talking about solely damage. And I'll do a few examples throughout. And we'll talk a little bit about the abilities that each legend does and why that kind of helps. But yeah, there's going to be probably some unpopular opinions in here, maybe some popular ones. Who knows? But yeah, ultimately, I just thought I'd do it. Thought it'd be a little bit fun, something different, and yeah, let's just get straight into it. And we'll work from the start onwards. And I'm even going to do it as in, even if I didn't get the 4K with them, would they be achievable? So I've got an example of that later on. But yeah, we'll get into it. So first off, we have Alter, the latest legend, the last legend to be added to Apex Legends. It's been a full season now that she's been in. I actually think she's a really, really good legend. Great mobility, great like escape plan with the ult and stuff like that. I definitely think she's a solid A legend. All right, I just think mobility just helps you move about the map. Yeah, it might not like attribute so much damage or anything like that, but like the fact that you can take high ground immediately with her Q, that's just like so important. Like high ground always wins and stuff like that. It always helps with getting damage when you're shooting down on someone. So yeah, 100% I think she's A tier. Some people might not like her, but yeah, I think she's absolutely class. Alright, so next we have Ashe, and this is going to be controversial, potentially, but I think she is C tier. High C tier, merging onto B. Okay, I genuinely think she's potentially one of the worst legends on the game in terms of like her utility. Her snare, very, very good, but it just, I don't know, there's something about it where it's a little bit, you know, it doesn't last as long. I know you can get the last as long in one, but specifically in trios, yeah, it just feels like just having one person doesn't help as much. I know you can make some good plays with grenades and stuff like that, but half the time it's just a bit too slow to get to there, and you can see it, and you know you can get out of the way of it most of the time. And her ult, I mean, her ult is just trash. Like it's so inconsistent where the ult goes. It also, like, you can literally see where it's going to come out. So if you see an Ashe ult and you see where the phase tear is, you can just pre-fire that and expecting her to come through, and you can probably like down if she's low on HP or whatever. Yeah, just for me, a legend that just needs a little bit more love in this game. I think she's got potential to be a really good legend. I really like the lore and stuff behind her, and I do like playing her. I just think in terms of getting a 4K, I just don't think she's that good. I mean, what even is her passive? Or the death box thing? I suppose that's probably the best thing about her. Like, I barely use that and I barely see people use it. But for getting a 4K where you can see where the death boxes are, at least you know that's where the fights are going on. So I suppose that's a little bit better. That's probably where she pushes up into a B, but I'm going to stick with the C here and be a little bit controversial, I think. Alright, so next up we have Ballistic, who I'm going to put in at B. Solely because I know his Q's not the greatest where you overheat the weapon. I know it's got a bit better with like the kind of buffs that he's had in the last update, whenever that was. But his ult is so good because ammo is like one of the #1 things when you're trying to get a 4K, and I'm constantly like running out of it or whatever, or running low, and to be able to just pop an ult and have that third weapon in your back, whether that's like a Havoc or something, so you can just push a building and just absolutely annihilate people. The quick reloads and stuff just makes it really good for one-on-ones as well. So yeah, he's a proper solid legend. You know, I think he's very like underpicked on Apex. I actually think he's really good. Like I said, the Q probably could do a little bit more work, but ultimately I think he's a very good legend, and we dropped some great games with him when we tried to get the 4K with him, which we did at the end, and we even got a 20 bomb with him. That's how good he is. Granted, that was in like what must be a bot lobby, but yeah, solid legend. Alright, so next up we have Bangalore. Again, I said I weren't going to be biased, but she's going straight in A tier. She's going to go in front. She has been nerfed hard every season. They try and do her, but she just still so good. Like the double time, I know it's not as good as what it used to be, but it's still good enough that you can escape and maneuver like gunfights and make it a bit easier in 1v1s. The smoke's really good to, I know you can see through it now, but still just like blocking off a line of sight so you can get across somewhere or get a better vantage point to start beaming another team. That is so good. And then the ult, it's kind of like free damage. I know like a lot of the time most people get out of the way of it, but if you get it in the middle of like a fight and you're third party in it, you get the ult down, it is easy like free damage for which you don't like, you know, get with most legends. You know, not many legends have like an ultimate that deals damage. Hers is one. Yeah, might not be the best, but it's still like enough to like kind of turn a fight or get that extra little bit of damage that you might need. Okay, so next up we have Bloodhound. Now I'm doing this after obviously he's been nerfed hard, and I'm gonna stick him in B, I think, just behind Ballistic. He's still a good legend. Like his scans are still valuable, and his ult where you get like a speed boost and you can see people. I know you can't see through smokes anymore, but he's still like pretty good. Like an overall decent legend to get a 4K with. I know he does nothing to deal kind of damage, but I think the movement thing like easily helps, because if you're wanting to push a fight and you're getting close to it and you're getting close to your 4K, all you need is like a little bit more, you know, like 500 more damage, and you keep the fight going the distance, pop your ult and just get there as quick as you can. Yeah, the speed, mobility, like I say, all helps, and yeah, that's why I think he's B. Potentially could be C alongside Ash, but we'll stick him there for now. Alright, so next up we have Catalyst, who I think is, again, another solid legend. In terms of damage-wise, I'm going to stick her as a high B. I think as an actual legend, she'd definitely be in A or S tier. Like, she's, again, another one who I don't see too many knocking about when I play, like, pub games. Yes, there's a few in ranked. But, yeah, her spikes, you know, they deal free damage on someone trying to push a door. You can hold doors, you can hold down, you can bunker up. And that's what you need. You know, sometimes in a 4K, you need to bunker up into a building, secure it. And that's what she's able to do. And you can just, like, you know, get you a little bit of perking damage here and there. Ult as well is really good. It's, you know, it's an underused mobility tool, because you can just block that full line of sight so you can move across and, again, reposition and get a better shot on the team that you're trying to farm. So, yeah, solid, another solid legend. I think she's definitely high B tier. I am tempted to put her in A, but we'll just keep it there for now. All right, and next we have Caustic, who's the person I am currently trying to get a 4K with, and we're sticking him straight into D. My God, I just hate him. That's why he's going in D. No, I know. Look, realistically, you can get free damage off his barrels and his ult, but his hitbox is just so big that it's just, it feels so unfair in a 1v1. If you're against a Caustic, if you're a legend that is, you know, of like a hitbox like any of these other legends, you should be winning. I don't care how good the Caustic is, you should be hitting his big fat ass. Yeah, he's just, oh, so bad at trying to get mobility with and stuff like that, and that's all important with 4Ks, because you've got to have some kind of a mobility at least, you know, when you come into like that 1v1 scenario. I know, like I say, you can put his gas down and you can fight in his gas and stuff, but yeah, for me, in terms of getting damage, he's just like a really, like, I don't know, hard to do it legend. I know supposedly, you know, you could lock down, get the barrels down, make it really secure and get perking damage, something to like Catalyst, but that hitbox, man, I swear, is just a massive negative, like, in terms of trying to, like, just perk and stuff, because as soon as you, like, perk up to get, like, a little bit of damage, you're just going to hit immediately, because you're so big. So, yeah, I think that could be controversial, but we're sticking him in D. Alright, next up, we have Conduit, who's going straight into A, and straight in just behind Bangalore. Probably should be ahead of, you know what, yeah, she should be ahead of Bangalore, because she's still one of the best legends on the game. Again, we've got the Q that just gives you free shields. Anything that gives you like extra health immediately, like shields are the most valuable resource on the game, and she just comes in and gives you immediate shields, helps you out in that fight. When you think you've lost, you can pop it, boom, you're back in again. Like, I see a lot of people not using it the correct way, in that if you like use it, if you've got like cracked, you take cover, you use it, get us through shields, pull that fight immediately. Don't like pop a bat to replace it, because you've just basically got free shields available for that fight again, so just get stuck straight back in. And the same with teammates, you know, you can help your teammates and get them out of situations. You know, keeping your squad alive is always like, you know, helps for stopping a team to be pushing you. You know, as soon as you get a knock on a team, you immediately rush that team, and it's same for yours. If someone gets knocked on yours, you know that team's probably going to push if it's a full 3. Having her Q helps, like, keeping them alive and just giving them extra like seconds to back off and, you know, reset. And then let's talk about the ult, which is still really, really strong. Like, you can block off a whole area. Like, I still see, I mean, I do it as well. Is the conduit ult down? I'm not going anywhere near it. I can't be asked to waste my ammo on trying to break it and getting through. So, like, most of the time I just wait for it to, like, you know, go away, which I think a lot of people do. And, you know, in that case, again, it's another way that you can kind of lock down an area or block a road off so that you can cross, or, you know, stop a team third party or something like that. So, yeah, she's such a good legend. So good. All right, and then up next, we have Crypto, who I'm going to put in D as well, but I'm going to put him higher than Caustic. He's someone who I was dreading playing and luckily got him ticked off earlier, but if I was stuck on him trying to get the 4K, I'd be losing my mind. I know he's got an ult that is very, very good, and it comes back fairly quickly. You know, you can crack people. Again, that's free damage. You kind of got free scans, but you know, when you're trying to get a 4K, the most important thing is to be firing your gun. Even if, you know, you're only hitting, you know, 1 out of 10 shots, at least if you're hitting a couple of shots, you're getting some damage. Most of the time with Crypto, you know, it encourages you to sit in the drone, fly around and gather information, which is really, really good. Like, for something like ranked or something like that, he's a great legend. But in terms of, like, pubs and getting a 4K, he's probably one of the worst. I mean, realistically, he's probably worse than Caustic. However, what I will say is that people don't use his drone in an aggressive way that you could. Like, if you know that someone's round a corner, just throw your drone around there and then push it, because you're going to get them, you know, free wall hacks to see where they are, and then that person's got to decide, should I shoot the drone or should I shoot the Crypto that's going to push me? I know realistically you should be shooting the Crypto, but I've seen plenty of players that are like, oh, I'm not going to shoot this drone, and then you're there, you kill him. If your drone gets destroyed, hell, it comes back in like 5-10 seconds or something ridiculous like that. Well, it's pretty quick either way, and yeah, that's why I think he's a little bit better than Caustic, but still, like I say, it encourages you to sit in that drone. You're not getting damage when you're sat in that drone, unless you're popping your ult, which again, people could just shoot your drone when it's popping, or you can just get out of the radius of it. But yeah, he's a D tier legend for me. All right, next up we have Fusey Boy, who is going straight up into S tier because he is amazing. He is, I mean, I talk about him all the time in my videos, how easy it was to get a 4K with him. There was like 5 squads left, we farmed damage. His knuckle dusters are just so annoying. The amount of times, you know, if you're playing, even for like any game mode, pubs, ranked, like quads or whatever, if that knuckle duster, if the team's pinned down in the building and you're just peppering them with him, it is the freest damage out of any legend that you can get. He is so good. And then his ult, you've got the wall hacks. I mean, you've got the exploit at the minute where you can shoot the balloon and it makes a massive area where you can see everybody, like it, like really like far away from the fire, even show up and like in the buildings and stuff. Like, it's crazy how good he is. And if you're using the ult in a legitimate way, you can like block off paths, or you can like really bunker down a team. If they're in the middle of the open, you can get at least one cornered and stuck. They're on free wall hacks again for you to just absolutely pepper, and if they do try call for that fire, they'll just get burned to death. So yeah, he's our first S tier legend. He's one of my my favourite legends I've ever played. I used him in ranked when I got to Masters. He's so good. Yeah, I can't estimate how good this guy is. Like, if you've never tried Fuse or never given him a proper go, you need to. Like, if you're struggling to get a 4K, honestly, just try it with him. And the fact that you can carry free grenades as well, like, grenades are a fantastic resource. Then just carry loads of arc stars and ping loads of them at like a full stack of 3 if they're like in a building or something, and you'll be getting like loads and loads of damage just for free there. Alright, so up next we have Gibraltar, and again, he's going straight down here. I'm going to move him up a little bit higher than Caustic. I truly think Caustic is just the worst. But yeah, Gibraltar, look, he's got the same issues as Caustic. He's got a massive hitbox, which I know that doesn't necessarily mean, oh, well, that's not stopping you getting damage. But yeah, you know, in fights, you're taking a lot more damage, so you're having to do a lot more healing and popping a lot more bats and cells and meds, and that's all just stopping you from fighting. Whereas if you've got a legend like Bangalore, who's got that small hitbox with that, you know, that passive where she moves really quickly, then, you know, you can avoid a couple more bullets, you can, you know, dip and dive and stuff like that, whereas Caustic, you just can't really do that with him. And yeah, I know the arm shield's like a little bonus. It blocks, you know, what is it, 150 damage, 100 damage, I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. Yeah, it's a free kind of little shield, but you know what, most of the time, it's just, you know, his hitbox does more harm than good. Yeah, you know, his Q's pretty good with the bubble, but again, you've got to use that in probably an aggressive way, and you've got to use it with a shotgun. Basically, that's the only way you can do it, by like kind of jiggle peeping out of the bubble with the shotgun. But again, that can be used against you, where a full 3 could just fly at you, and you're isolated in the bubble, and your team can't help you if you've pushed too far. His ult is probably one of the best on the game. Like, it is so powerful in terms of damage. But again, it's one of those where you know it's coming down, you get the big warning. You should have enough time to get out of there unless you're really not paying attention. So yeah, for that reason, he's definitely D tier. I think he's a legend that is just, yeah, not the best at all. Alright, so up next, we have Horizon, who in her own mind is still an S tier legend, I think. Movability is very good. We're going to stick her just behind Alta, I think, just in front of Alta, and just behind Bangalore. Incredible legend still. Like I say, mobility is, you know, one of the best things on the game. You know, be able to take in height whenever you can. That is so good. The ult, I know the ult got nerfed a long time ago, where it takes friendly fire damage and grenades kind of blow it up now. But it's still like really good at dragging somebody out, or, you know, what a lot of people don't use it for, just breaking down doors. If someone's behind a door, chuck your ult on it, it's going to rip them doors off and suck that guy in. And he's going to have to try and shoot that. And whilst he's shooting that, you can sneak round in the back, shoot him, free damage. Done. But yeah, for real, you know, she's got a great hitbox again, small one, very movable, movability. The passive is probably one of the best passives to use, like in terms of playing a legend, like being able to like fly off things. She's so good on Storm Point. I know that's not in rotation at a minute, but if you ever playing Storm Point, get her, get on them grav cannons, and you can just fly on them things. Yeah, really good at like kind of pushing fights on that map. Like, Storm Point alone, she's probably pushing like an S tier, but overall, I think she's A tier. Like I say, the grav lift's still so good at taking height and stuff like that, that it needs to be up there, and she needs to be, you know, seen as one of these like top quality legends, which she's seen as. Alright, so up next, we have got Lifeline, who I'm going to stick in B. I'm going to put probably just a bit ahead of Ballistic. Do I put ahead of? Yeah, we'll put ahead of Ballistic. We'll stick her there. That's because she's got the best hitbox in the game. I think she's on level with Ray for hitbox. Like, I think them two are like the smallest ones in the game, and I think that's like a genuine fact. I could be wrong, but I think it's true. And like I say, in fights, that's so good. Like, you're harder to hit. That's amazing. She can res teammates, like, you know, you can pop your res off and keep fighting and keep getting damage. Like, even when you get knocked, sometimes it does kind of help, because, like I say, that full 3 will fly at you. And if you've got good enough shots and they're not, like, the best team, you can stick that res on your teammate and then immediately pull around and just start, like, leathering into that full 3 that are pushing you. We got loads of high damage gains of it, and I think that was purely on a hitbox alone. Her ult, yeah, it's still pretty crap. I mean, it was good when it had the care package weapon in. Like, then should have been an A tier legend. Like, just running around with a Kraber, like, all game was amazing. However, that has soon been taken away, and we just get, like, the guaranteed gold item now, which is still pretty good. You know, you're guaranteed pretty much like a gold mag for most of your weapons, which if that's, like, for a Havoc or something, that's amazing. But, yeah, and then, you know, you've got the drone, so you can kind of heal up on the side whilst you're still fighting and stuff. You can pop a bat, pop the drone, and then get fighting again, which is still, again, gets you engaged in the fights and stops time, you know, having to heal like you would have to with Caustic or Gibraltar. So yeah, that definitely plays to a side, but I'd say a solid B tier legend. I wouldn't go any higher than that. You know, she's proper mid-range in terms of getting damage. All right, and then we have Loba, who is gonna go with Fuse in S tier, and I think these are tied. These are tied for the top. I wouldn't put one either side of each other, because Loba, I think she's one of my favourite legends in the game, and annoyingly, I got her ticked off quite early on the 4K challenge, but I will be going back and playing her all the way to 1,000 kills at some point, because I loved playing her. I think her Q is great. You can reposition. I know you can see where it's going, but you don't know when they're going to pop it. And yeah, like I say, anything where you can take height or anything like that is so valuable, and the Q is great for that. And especially with the increased throwing distance, you can absolutely fly around the map and push fights quickly. Her ult, I mean, what more is there to say? Ammo is the biggest resource needed for getting a 4K, and her ult just basically gives you free ammo, right? You can grab it as many times as you want. You can swap weapon if you really need to. It's so good. Like, all you need to do is, if you're playing ranked, play Loba, get to the middle of the zone after you've done like a couple of fights on the outside. Get to the middle, pop your ult, get as much ammo as you can for like a hemlock or something, and then just absolutely farm the lobby. She's so good, and definitely on par with Fuse with ST. I know her abilities don't technically do damage, but they do enough things that help you get damage. And then you even get the thing where you can see what is it, gold items through bins and stuff. That's not like too important, but if you know, like, you know, if you're quickly running past a bin and you're trying to push a fight, but you see there's a gold energy mag in that bin, you could just shoot straight for it and get it. So yeah, not the best passive, but it's still, you know, a little something to help out. But either way, the other two abilities definitely push her up into S tier. Okay, and then next we have Maggie, who I'm gonna put right up there in just behind Conduit. I think I was tempted to put her S tier as well. But yeah, the flame thing that shoots the drill, oh my god, that is just so good. Like, you'll have seen on, like, if you've watched any of my other videos when we got the 20 bomb and stuff like that, again, it was just like free damage, just burning people behind walls. Someone tries to take cover behind the door when you've cracked them, boom, pop the drill in, they're either running or they're dead. And then the ult as well. It's so good for covering your ground. If you can hear a fight in the distance, you can pop that ult and you'll be there in seconds. And even if you use it in an aggressive like way, like if you're 1v1 with someone, you throw that ult at them, it just, no matter if you're on keyboard, a mouse or controller, that thing will absolutely destroy you, and you'll just be like, what is going on? So yeah, she's yeah, proper solid legend, 100% in that A tier bracket, and yeah, she's like, again, one of my favourite legends I've used. And the fact that you can run her out with shotgun as well is like the passive, like running full speed with a weapon out, even if it's just a shotgun. If someone's like camping in a corner and surprises you when you're running out, boom, you've got a shotgun, you know, amazing close quarters weapon. You can just easily, you know, get a chance to fight when you might have had to pull your gun out or something like that. It might have cost you. So yeah, 100% an A tier legend. Like I say, very tempted to put it to S tier, but yeah, she does enough things with abilities that get damage. All right, so up next we have Mirage, who again, I think we're going to stick him just here, ahead of Bloodhound, I'd say, in B tier. He's one of those legends who, you know, in fact, I'm going to stick him high C tier. All right. He's good legend, you know, his ult is insane. I think as an actual legend itself, he's amazing. Like, he'd probably be like B or A tier if you play him right. But in terms of like getting damage, yeah, I know the bamboozles, you know, you can kind of, you know, point them out and get an idea where somebody is, or, you know, get enough time to reposition. And his ult is incredible, don't get me wrong. Like, you can fully fool people, but a really, really good player will spot that little, like, kind of glow that he has on his arm. I miss it all the time. I'm not a good player, but he has that glow on his arm which shows you which one is the real person. So you can kind of look out for that and counter the ult. And yeah, he doesn't really do anything that kind of offers like additional damage or anything like that. And if anything, he's kind of like I don't know. I know he's got like the invisi-reses and stuff like that, but again, that is something like helping the team. Like the invisi-res, if you're having to stop and res someone, you're not getting damage. So, you know, you're going to want someone else to kind of pick Mirage if you're going to use him. Yeah, he's a high C tier legend for me. If anything, maybe he's a bit, you know what, I'm going to move him there. I'm going to stick Ash a little bit higher. I think the Tether's just a little bit more useful than like the bamboozles, but yeah, that's what I think. Okay, up next, we have Newcastle. And you know what? In terms of getting damage, I'm going to stick him there, all right? In terms of an actual legend, he's easily, I think, an A tier legend. Nobody uses this guy, and he's so good. He's, yeah, his wall, his movable wall, you can just push a team with that alone, especially when you get the buff to it. And he's all, yeah, in team, like, you know, not in solos. In solos, he's awful. But in team, like, in trios or in ranked, his ult is so good. And it literally, the game that I got the 4K with him, his ult came in clutch twice in saving my ass. And the other time, getting a nice little position that we could farm the final team. So, yeah, he's a really, really solid legend. But in terms of getting, like, a 4K, he's just going to struggle with him because, again, his hitbox is so big. You're going to be taking a lot of damage. But, yeah, ultimately, like, you know, he's cute. It's probably the only thing that's, like, the best thing about him in terms of, like, being able to push a fight that way. Yeah, he's not the best, again, a 4K. I kind of, you know, stay away if you're trying to get 4Ks. But for anything else, if you're playing ranked, my God, I think he's really, really good, and I think he's a little bit slept on. I think he's just waiting for someone to play him like amazing in ALGS or something like that for him to unlock his full potential. I think he's got a really kind of high ceiling on how to play him, and nobody's really tapped into that yet. So yeah, watch this space for Newcastle. He could soon be flying up these lists for you with 4K as soon as you see someone doing some mad stuff with him, which there probably is someone out there already, but you know, we're becoming more common with him played. Okay, up next we've got Octane. Now this is going to be controversial, but I'm going to stick him at the high end of B. I know a lot of people have had him in A tier, maybe S tier. I mean, there's so many like 20 bomb 4K Octanes knocking about. But ultimately, I just think it's a bit of a kind of risk-reward legend. I mean, the 90% of the Octane like mains just stim the hell out of him to push a fight or something. And then as soon as the shields are gone, they're down to like half health. And that half health like can truly matter in like a 1v1. The amount of times that I've come down to like 1 HP fights. And yeah, Octane, I know he has the health generation, but it is still really, really slow. It's not as powerful as what it used to be. I mean, he's still an amazing legend to play, really fun. But in terms of getting a 4K, yeah, it's very risk reward. If you time it right with the stim and you're pushing a fight, that's great. You're going to get that extra bit of damage. But if not, then it could punish you hard, and then you could end up being miles away from your team as well. So you might not even get res, and you might get thirsted. So yeah, I mean, the pad, yeah, that's good at taking height, but there's other legends that are better at taking height. Alter, Horizon, they're all legends that have got better abilities at getting the whole team up there, other than you know, the pad, which a lot of people, you know, if you're on controller, you can't kind of tap straight off it or anything like that, so you're going to have to hit it bang on, whereas on keyboard and mouse you can move a little bit more. So again, that's a little bit more inconsistency that you get, whereas, you know, like I say, Horizon Alter, no matter what you're playing on, you can get straight to that ground immediately. Alright, and then up next, we have Pathfinder, who is probably my favourite legend on the game. He's the funnest legend to play. I love him loads, but I'm sticking him in B. And I'll tell you why, alright? It's because his hitbox is the size of a fridge, alright? He's so big. Like, not only is he so tall, but he is so wide that oh god, he just takes so many bullets when you're playing him. Like, I struggled so much to get a 4K with this guy, and it's such a shame because I loved him. But, you know, we got it in the end, but getting there was so hard. Yeah, his grapple is amazing at being able to push fights. The recent buff where if you knock someone, it resets the grapple. That's great as well. You know what I mean? It means pushing fights is a lot more kind of rewarding. Again, it's that risk-reward thing with Octane. But other than that, I know he's got the zip that is good for taking ground. But again, it's just something where you can see that zip miles away from, you know, on the map. You can see it if you're on the high ground. You can automatically see the, you know, the grapple thing connect at the top, whereas someone like Horizon or Alter, that portal, you can kind of discreetly put it down, or at least you can put it down, wait a little bit, and then go up. Whereas, yeah, with Pathfinder, you can see it immediately on the map, kind of thing. You know, it's all there to see. You can get beamed on it pretty easy as well, unless you take the option where you're getting more protection on there, which I don't see many people do. Then yeah, it means that, you know, it's just a little bit more useless than the other legends that have got, you know, height mobility, I guess we'll call it. The only bonus I would say is that with him being so tall, I think you can take like better head glitches than other legends. So yeah, that's a kind of little bit of a bonus, but most of the time, you know, you're not probably fighting for a head glitch when you're trying to get a 4K. So yeah, I'm sticking him in B. That's going to be controversial. I mean, don't get me wrong, in terms of wanting to play the guy, he's in S tier. I love him, but yeah, getting a 4K, he's not it. Alright, up next, we have Rampart, who I'm going to stick in high C tier, okay? I know she's got Sheila, which does unbelievable damage, but 9 out of 10 times, if you're pulling Sheila out, he's going to be at a point where you're probably thinking, oh, this, you know, I'm going to take this full team on with my Sheila when they push me. If all three does push you, you're probably going to die, like, immediately. It's just, most guns, like, I've 1v1'd Sheila versus a Havoc when someone were pushing me once, and I lost because the Havoc just inflicted more damage than the Sheila by the time, like, it's spewed up and you've got it in, you know, ready to go. It just causes more harm than good, I've found. I know the walls do more damage and stuff like that, and I actually got my highest damage game with Rampart. It's still is just, yeah, just a legend that, unless you really master her, I think she's really hard to get the 4K out of. And yeah, I just think it's really good for breaking down doors. You know, when someone's taking cover behind the doors with the shield, that's one of the best feelings in Apex, is when you just like, they think they're safe, boom, shield's out, you drill through them all. But yeah, I just think 9 out of 10 times, especially for me, I was thinking about where to pop the walls and when to get Sheila out, and I was that busy thinking about it that I could have just beamed the person, you know what I mean, just normally, without having to try and get that extra little bit of damage with a wall or whatever. I mean, you can build a little bit of a fortress and you know, on places, but for me, she's not it for the 4K. High C tier. I mean, if you're a good player like Game Immersion or whatever, obviously he's able to get the best out of her and probably will put her in S tier. But for me, I think for the casual player, I'd definitely leave her in C. Alright, now, Revenant. Earlier I mentioned there's legends that I didn't get the 4K with, but I think they're better than they are, and he's one, and I'm popping him into S tier. He's behind these two, in my opinion, but technically, I think he's the best legend on the game right now. He is so powerful. And yeah, like, I mean, the leap, I mean, that resets on knock as well, I think, with one of his upgrades. You can fly around with that. You can absolutely fly. He's got the ability to take height really easy, where he climbs really quick. When he climbs as well, it is completely silent. He makes no noise whatsoever. He's just next to you as soon as before you realise it. And then obviously his ult, again, I think that adds, what, 150 HP to his, you know, above his shields. Anything where you're getting bonus, like, protection is so good. If you've got full health, full red shields, and you pop his ult as well, you should not be losing, like, any 1v1 fight, or even, like, against teams. You then can take so much more damage before you have to heal, so you can get more bullets off, more damage. He's so good. I will try and get the 4K with him again, but because I only probably played him for like 200-300 kills after he got his ultra buff. I played a lot before and got, like, I think it was like 500-600 kills when he was like the really poor, like, kind of Revenant where you had the silence. He's miles better than that now. He's so good, and yeah, he's just a legend that you see knocking about everywhere now. Okay, next up we have Sia, who again is someone I'm going to stick right here. Okay, for me, he just doesn't do enough to get damage. I know he kind of shows where, you know, rats are and stuff like that, so you can kind of see if someone's hidden behind a wall or something. That's, like, kind of mainly for ranked, I guess. And he's all, yeah, I suppose you can pop it down if a team's pushing. You can see wall hacks exactly where their positions is, and you can kind of queue and silence their abilities. He's nowhere near as good as what he used to, in my opinion. When I was playing him, and we got so close to the 4K with him, when I was playing him, he'd probably been up in, like, probably A tier, because his Q, when you used to throw it, it would just stop you. It was a full stun. You could not move. You could just 1v1 someone. You'd win every time. It didn't matter how good they were. You just pop your Q. They were stunned. Couldn't move. You could just run rings around them while shooting bullets. It was so easy to win the 1v1. But yeah, now he's received a ton of nerfs, and I just don't think he's that good. I know he's probably realistically better than Bloodhound at the minute with the Bloodhound nerfs that have been coming, but in terms of getting 4K, yeah, he's got a decent hitbox and stuff like that, but yeah, he just doesn't do enough for me. His abilities don't really offer too much in terms of helping you get damage, but yeah, that's just what I think. Alright, now up next we have Valkyrie, who I'm going to stick just in front of Bloodhound. I think she's a solid, like, decent legend for the 4K attempts, you know. I think she's got the Qs with the rockets. They do a decent amount of damage, but again, most of the time you can probably move out of the way of them. It's only really useful if you've got, like, someone pinned behind a rock. You've already cracked them. You pop the Q on them, and they've got a choice to either take the damage to the health, or they can try and move, and then you can pop some shots on them. The jetpack's great. Offers movability, which is always what you want. You can take your high ground, you can get really good spots, and then, you know, the ult is a little bit kind of redundant now with jump towers, you know, because you can fly around. It used to be really good in that, you know, you could, you know, like fly off to fights immediately. 9 out of 10 times now, someone's probably got a balloon in the pocket. As soon as you do one fight, you can pop it, boom, go. Most people won't wait for you to jump onto your ult or whatever. I suppose the only kind of good thing is the passive, where you can kind of spot people on the floor, so at least you know roughly where the teams are if you know, if you're pushing like a third party, or if you're just pushing, you know, flying around the map to see if there's anybody there, then it'll highlight them a lot easier for you. So yeah, like I say, middle of the ground kind of legend. I think she's like a good one who you can master, you know, pretty well. But yeah, ultimately, I think B tier probably sits her about right. All right, and then next we have Watson, who, you know what, I'm gonna put her in A tier at the end, which a bit controversial. Maybe she should be in B tier, but I really liked playing Watson. Again, another one who I feel has got a really, really good hitbox. You can make some unbelievable plays with her fences if you really take time to master it and do like all the tricks where you've got them in the doors or whatever, you know, you one on one door, you shut the door, you put it down, you've got them jammed. If you walk into one of her fences and Watson pushes you, 9 out of 10 times she will probably kill you, right? Because that thing stuns the hell out of you. Her ult is very good, blocks off any, you know, grenades or anything like that. It regens your shields. It's really, really good. She's like a really amazing better version of Caustic in terms of like locking down a building, right? Yeah, she's really, really good. And then passive, I know it's very slow, that's regen shields, but if you are in that final end game and you're running a bit low on meds and you're getting close, that really helps. Like, you could technically regen your shield all the way to the top, drop your shield, take your teammates and regen that, and just keep doing that if you really needed to. Yeah, like I say, anything that helps with shields is just like such a valuable resource. So yeah, even though it might be a little bit, like I say, not as good as Conduit, it's still solid, and like I said, the hitbox is great and stuff. So yeah, for me, A tier. I really like playing her. Like I say, the fences, they're really good at like closing off areas and slowing teams down so that you can, you know, bunker up and get some picking damage. All right, and now next up we have Wraith, who, you know what, I'm gonna stick her at the high end of B tier. If you let's put her there. There we go. Maybe she's probably A tier because her hitbox is so small, so hard to hit. But yeah, I mean, her Q's not as good as what it used to be in terms of the fact that other legends have better Q's now. You know, it's you can kind of, you know, you can get out of danger and move about and stuff, but you know, most of the time, you know, by the time you've wafted your hands about and finally got into phase, you've probably even been shot loads more, or they'll just chase you down. Like, you can't really move unless you've got some like fade movement. You're probably not going to outrun the team. Her ult, you know, again, is one of those where I think other like legends offer a better ult. I know you can get kind of, you know, get out plans and escape, but you shouldn't be kind of looking too much for that for a 4K. Yeah, just not too much to say about Wraith. It's, you know, a fan favourite legend. I know a lot of people are disappointed. I know tons of people have got 4Ks and 20 bombs with her and had put her up there. I've got a 4K with her. Yeah, she's good. Don't get me wrong, a good legend. I think a solid legend. But in terms of getting a 4K, I just don't think her abilities like match, you know, what you need in terms of getting, you know, height or anything like that. Yeah, just not the one for me, and that will be controversial. Okay, and then last but not least, we have Vantage, who is going to sit perfectly at the top of D tier. Such an underwhelming legend. The Q is just so slow, like when you're flying off to it and stuff. It's so inconsistent in terms of like getting height. There's, like I said, tons of better legends of getting height that even offer it to your team as well. The sniper is underwhelming. It doesn't hit as hard as what I think it should. I think it hits for 50 the first shot and then 100 for the second shot. I'd stick it on 100 the first shot. Maybe lower the bullets so you only get like 3, but make it so it hits a lot harder, like maybe like a charged sentinel, and then we're talking. Then she'd be a good legend. And on top of that, her hitbox is massive. It's huge. It's probably as big as Caustic's, I'd say, and she doesn't get the protection of taking less damage. The only reason why I'm putting her higher than these 3 legends here is that she's just got that little bit more movability. Yes, the bat is terrible in terms of jumping to it, but at least it offers a bit more than these guys. You know what I mean? If you do need to get out of trouble, you've got a little bit more of a chance of getting out of it with the bat than you have with any of these. Yeah, she's just not that it at all. Look, we got lucky when we got the 4K with her. We got it ticked off pretty well. But yeah, I think she needs some major buffs to put in contention with any of the other legends in terms of getting damage. Yeah, for me, she sits down there. But yeah, that's what I think in terms of where the legend should be in getting 4K. I am tempted to put Conduit up into S tier. You know what, I'm sticking her there. Who cares? But that's it. Sold, done. Not moving anyone else. yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Probably going to disagree with a lot of this, but this is just how I found it as a casual player playing the 4K. These have been like the easiest ones to get a 4K damage game with, and yeah, ultimately, you know, you could probably get a 4K with any legend. I've managed to do it with most of the legends. If you really try, you're probably going to get it no matter what their abilities are or anything. It's just about getting, you know, the right sort of game. But there's definitely these types of legends will help you a lot more in getting it. Like I say, players like Loba, oh my god, like the ammo thing is just the best. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this, a little bit different, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace!